sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us. Like a good drug, never run. We'd hook up in my car, driving so far. Play your guitar, you'd show me your art. Let down our guards, think with our hearts. Stare at the stars, we were never apart. Drinking too young, way too much fun. Out in the sun, open when it's gone. Took you to prom, dance to our song. Dance all night long till the lights come on. Now I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. Nights, long fights, it felt right, we were alive. We would go out, we were so loud, we were so proud, we had no doubts. Weekends and weekdays, we'd spend our own way. We were careless, we were fearless, we were reckless, time was precious. We loved to waste time, whiskey and wine, drinking all night, asleep by your side. Finally alive, we would just drive, never arrive. Our journey was live, staying out late, testing our fate, running away. We live for today, young and so bold, never get old. Screw what we're told, we can't be controlled. We could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. How careless we could be.
It's too late now, I remember you and me, and how careless we could be. But it's too late now, I remember you and me, and how careless we could be.
All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us. Like a good drug, never run.
We'd hook up in my car, driving so far. Play your guitar, you'd show me your art. Let down our guards, think with our hearts. Stare at the stars, we were never apart. Drinking too young, way too much fun. Out in the sun, open when it's gone. Took you to prom, dance to our song. Dance all night long till the lights come on.
It's too late now, I remember everything. Tell
now I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. Late nights, long fights, it felt right, we were alive. We would go out, we were so loud, we were so proud, we had no doubts. Weekends and weekdays, we'd spend our own way. We were careless, we were fearless, we were reckless, time was precious.
We loved to waste time, whiskey and wine, drinking all night, asleep by your side. Finally alive, we would just drive, never arrive. Our journey was live, staying out late, testing our fate, running away. We live for today, young and so bold, never get old. Screw what we're told, we can't be controlled.
Too late now, I remember everything. And how careless we got. It's too late now, I remember you and me. And how careless we got.
It's too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could.
Still favouring Liquid. The fact that we're even in this position in the first place from these overextension peaks through middle is kind of insane. Now Cadian's effectively in a 1-on-2. If they peek him both together and they get the clean kill, this round heavily goes in favour of Boss, and Cadian is crossing his fingers and hoping for the best, stuck in the back box. And now the information's going to come through. Flash proceeds to push. Oh, it's a TK. Freshie leaping into the air. Nullifies Cadian, but shut down by his teammate. But Freshie has tons of time now for this post plant. Twist's going to be coming in on the arches. It gets taken down by Freshie. A 3v5. How have you lost that, Liquid?
Oh, mate, they go into that one with the read, Vince. They felt like they had it any damn day of the week. They keep giving them 1-for-1 fights, and they get punished for it. Freshie with a bloodlust at the end, but it doesn't matter because he still batters them with the Glock. Oh, that's a pistol round with authority. If you can keep this up, if you don't throw things away now, going back into it, play against the anti-eco, this could be hellish. There it is from his POV as well, but it's this one that matters. That's the round winner.
Man, it's even worse than I thought, Jackie. It was a 2v5.
I know, bud, it's mad.
Oh my. Well, they've got the scout, they've got an M4, and they've got a pick, but it's at the cost of the likes of Twists, and that's probably not a worthwhile trade if you're Liquid. You're banking quite a lot of his very capable mechanical skill, and now in the meanwhile, Boss gonna be making up the moves on Banana, sending Cryptic by himself into the smoke. He's gonna be trying to wrap around, but it's a freebie, and Cadian obliges.
All comes down to the last three players then. Brute force strength is what you need. claw back the round on the attack towards B. Utility's coming over the top. Yekindar turning inside of the smoke. Now flies 5-7. Is absolutely sick at the best of times, but Freshie with a Molotov. It goes down towards the back of the site, burns out Brett. Pone alone is all left in a 1v2. He's got a bit of time here. Both of the CTs are relatively far away. They're going for the split push back into the bomb site on a retake, but he's paranoid about the peaks, expecting them to be close on the site. The last smoke goes down, blocks off CT, walks round towards Ruin side. He wants to clear it first, knows he's got a bit of time on the clock here.
Yeah, that initial uncertainty now may cost him, though, because he's going to have to go in for the plant. This is going to allow Liquid to get that little bit closer. And now Kanian's going to be taking that first point of call, but he gets the shutdown from Skulls with the USP, as Pone alone was anticipating a second player from Banana. And that force buy yielding success again. And how many times was that the case against Bestia as well, by the way? These like AWP 5-7 buys on the CT side, they won 3 or 4 of them. They had no right to win. It dug them out of so many ditches.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him with a 5-7 towards second oranges, I was a little bit scared. I thought that's one of those where he just absolutely unleashes, lets it rip like a Beyblade. Unfortunate in some of these fights as well. The boss playing into the hands of the pistols up close. Scrap towards B. This was the team kill that came out. Freshly threw the Molotov over towards Dark Spot, attempting to force the player out of position. As you're clearing around the corner, Mac-10 walks into it, drops Brett. The round itself is now history. Unfortunate for Pone alone. Tried to make the best of the situation as well. 14 frags to his name. He's been delivering here on Inferno. Round 15 then, 7-7. It's tied up, but the difference is Liquid now have the superior firearms.
Yeah, Pone alone, the newest recruit to the roster. And he is delivering in spades right now. Needs somebody else to help him out, and that's always the issue. It's always the quandary that you feel when a team is doing so well statically on the CT side. Are they able to pick that pace up when it's on the T side, especially in a map like Inferno, where your opportunities are few and far between? Will Pone alone have any help? We're gonna have to find that one out, but in the meanwhile, it's gonna be Mac-10s. And Tech-9s, the run and gun potential extremely high, the threat levels high alongside it. But Liquid taking a leaf from the boss playbook here with the quad play, but there's Molotovs and flashes, but it's the same result. It's a massacre. Skulls, Naf, and Twists all chip in for one.
The different angles of elevation throwing off the crosshairs, but in the 1-for-1 scraps, they win a couple of them. Naf walking up the steps as well into the hands of Freshie. Mercs in with a Mac-10. 40 seconds on the clock, another 1v2, a costly round for Liquid, even if they get it over the finish line. Peeks around the back towards balcony. And Yekindar does starve it off. Got to recover those weapons, though. The other rifle's up on top of quad.
Okay, don't leave him hanging, please. There you go. All good.
Perfectly cut screams.
There it is.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I love that.
But you're dead on the money, though. That was a really costly round on Liquid, and although they can't make the most of it now, if they get a kill or two in this round and further down the line in the CT, it could catch up with Liquid. But they do have 2 MP9s, 3 MP9s in actual fact, so this is their golden opportunity to just print that cash once more and put that last round and lock it up. It's going to be a complete and utter devastation through middle. And although Brett gets one, he's living on borrowed time. MP9 is out, nearly takes the kill down on Yekindar, and that probably would have been the difference maker. It would have been more money in the back of Brett, would have been 2 rebuys up, and therefore they lose a couple of utility here or there, like an incendiary, a HE. So a timeout has been called. And they're going to know that Liquid are kind of against the ropes here. Yeah, sure, you're behind. Yes, you're feeling the pressure and everything else, but Liquid are far from ideal. They're far from stabilized.
No, they're wounded right now. They are wounded. Bosch can definitely push the initiative here if they keep it going with how they're playing. He took time to have a look over the notes as well. Preparation, the anti-strats come out swinging into the 17th round. Very heavy investment towards the B site as well. Banana control. I think a big piece of the puzzle. Yekindar up to his old style of play. Straight down. Post up behind the barrels, look to command respect, and this allows the rotate off from the other players. They can go back and bolster the defense on A now with a deep smoke. All faith in Yekindar.
It's good to see as well, man, because he has had a bit of a rough tournament here, so still having faith in him to solo hold. will build up that confidence. It's had a decent map so far. 8 kills to his name, extra smoke and flashbang tossed in, and oh, nearly through that smoke. He delivers onto Brett down to 18 health and gets up close and personal.
It's a big tag. Calling for the rotate back around as well. Cadian with the extra utility. Late round on this, but here comes the push. Here comes the boom as well. Nade over the top for Naf, straight towards Arch. Yakindar finally confirms the deep control he was looking for onto Brett Pone alone, stepping into the crossfire and falls because of it. 2 players remain on Boss into the 17th. Bomb's going to get mollied. Freshie trying to grab it by the tips of his fingers. Let's eventually get it back on him. 17 seconds though, you've got to do something swift here.
I think it's going to be a save, Jackie. I think they have no further part to play in this round other than just raw survival. And this is a great round by Yakindar. Perfect timing, 2 kills with the MP9, trading up to AKs. I mean, this is pretty much the perfect round if you're Liquid. As just we were talking, they weren't stabilized. They were still a little bit shaky. Well, now they have reached that point where they regathered themselves, a couple of deep breaths, tons of cash, premier rifles on their side, and a 10-7 lead.
I'm not gonna be third guy. I don't have a Mallow. I really don't have enough money for one.
Comms coming across there in terms of the utility that they're going to be using, setting themselves up. Probably the 3-player setup towards Banana again. You get the smoke round early, deep Banana. Molly goes out mid, but this is a far faster play from Liquid. They're playing right to their hands. Oh, they're going to be running straight into the Liquid squad, defending top Banana. Bombardment comes out as the AK sprays down from Yakindar. He's looking for the headshot as well, but the MAC-10 overwhelms. Molotov forced back Naf, but he's got another one in the back pocket. Oh, he gets trapped and falls to Cadian.
Oh, that was a squashing of the Banana, just stamping on top of Boss. They never got a chance in that round. Just a full-on rush into tons of HEs and Molotov. And although Freshy's trying desperately to silent drop down to catch off guard one of the CTs, no one's close enough proximity anyway for him to exploit. 11-7 going to be the score, and that was off the back of another force. It's not going to look any better for Boss in this next round. Probably some P250 Tech 9s, not much else. And this is always potentially the problem, Jackie. You know, you got that really solid hold of both sites on the CT side, but this T side it's been flat.
Had a few opportunities. I think you would physically want as well. Money's there to buy out towards the end of the game if they keep things cleanly. Nades and AKs in play. For Boss, it's just the one rifle that's brought over, but that's basically going to be the only thing you have going into the 19th.
Counter-terrorists win.
Get this man 2 more beers for tomorrow.
2 more beers for tomorrow.
Well, now we know the winning secret.
You can definitely see on the sort of just general body language a lot more calm now for Liquid. They were looking a little bit desperate when it was 5-2 against them. Some heads were dropping. That's no longer the case. 3rd time out on Boss. Yakindar started 0-4, now 13-9, having tons and tons of impact. He's had 3 multi-kill rounds. 5 opening picks in his favor. He's having a very good map here. Which is great to see because he's come under a lot of scrutiny recently.
No, so. Yeah, the narrative has definitely flipped for Yakindar in recent times. Someone that you want to see back to his winning ways as well. You know, the individual talent's definitely there. It felt like he sort of lost confidence in some of the plays, especially in that Bestia game where Harry was playing Banana. It felt very different to his usual flavor. Getting back into his stride here, though. And this is a big confidence round. You get the deep phase mode that goes out, so you can take bottom mid control. 3 players here. Pona alone. P250 Punisher comes straight around the corner and rips their head off. But they will have no more shenanigans in this one.
Unfortunately, is the only highlight of that round as far as Boss are concerned. Apart from that, it was one-way traffic. However, Boss effectively into an eco round. Now going to have a full purchase that just saw Pona alone pick up an AWP before we switch to the very handsome Twists. They have themselves many map points. This is the choice of Liquid, and we were discussing it before. You know, Ancient, certainly in terms of stats, is Boss's best map. You expect them to come out swinging on that one. So a solid start overall on Liquid, assuming they can close this one off. It's the same smoke, the same aggression. Will it be the same result, though? Skulls up on the staircase. Spots Cryptic, neutralizes him, and is Freshly just around the corner as well, and Skulls gets himself 2. That should be good enough, especially as Twisters bypass this smoke in a really forward position. Going to be catching multiple players off guard, but they pass each other, and Brett checks his angles.
Oh, Pone as well, watching towards the gap of the smoke. Sees a little bit of skin from Yakindar as he walks around the corner, tags him, but can't back him yet. His teammates are still demolishing everyone from Liquid, though. They do not want to go down in the 20th. They want to keep fighting. And it's up to this man to clutch it out now. Rips it back into a 1v2. Walking through the smoke into the crosshairs of Brett. Playing around the edge of it. Brett backs up, round towards Boiler side, very low on HP. They barely pass each other, but he's going to clear this angle. Fast flick as well. Shuts it back down. It's a 1-for-1 now. A winnable timeline, but Pone was waiting, and it's a perfect connection. They stay alive, but they lose everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yakindar did a lot of work at the end. Everyone down to around $3,500, even after success. So Yakindar has effectively pushed him into Galil, some MAC-10s. Pone alone can drop an AK for one of his teammates if they need it, which is exactly what happens. So yeah, you lost the round, but Yakindar did everything he possibly could, barring winning, to bring Boss to their knees. But we go again. That's the kind of scrappy, chaotic round, though. It was a coin flip, let's be honest. Like, if Brett doesn't turn around and check, like, Twist probably wins that round. So, can you get it done, Boss? In more orthodox rounds, in more protocol-centric rounds. Molotov, well-placed, well-timed, will keep Cryptic at bay.
That's the thing, it's just about sustainability now. How many times can they repeat the success? Well, they're fast on brackets. They're going straight up. Molotov's late round the corner as well. And Twist flicks off. He goes back in and does at least go for the 1-for-1. Traded out by Brett. Labored spray from Skulls. Falls down. Brett. He's being able to cause a lot of issues for Liquid right now. You've got a bit of an edge to play with. Yakindar is fast on the adjustment, though. Straight up middle. Takes down Pone. Looking for 2, but Darty denies.
Af and Katie, last 2 players, both stuck in arches. Not sure they want any part of this round now. They had tons of cash, but now it's been brought back down to reality. Smoke onto brackets. But you already see that Naf has no interest. He's over on Banana side. It's going to be a save. So the answer to the question is, yes, you have a more standard sort of orthodox round, protocols from the Archer's crunch, and they get it done. Brett got 2 massive entry frags, especially that second one onto Skulls. But Cadian is going to try and allow the bomb to do most of the work for him. I think Brett may be a dead man. Looks to the skies and takes his last breath. But it's fine, he'll be resurrected in just a few moments.
The most expensive of the equipment in the AWP was at least held onto, so you can drop that back over to Pone. Sigh of relief for Darty off the back of the round as they know they're at least still in the game, still alive on Inferno for now. Liquid use the third of the timeouts. The last one makes sense to call it in. You know you're close to closing it. Take that final opportunity to figure things out, get the winning solution.
Yeah, Saw's use was very quick. To motion the T for the timeout there, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. They still have a huge advantage, but that's going to quickly slip by if they're not careful. Rallying the troops again. High fives all around. 12-9 the score, and with those 2 save weapons, it's going to be a full purchase with 3 A4s and the 1 A1S. Which was interesting for me at the pro level of play is which players decide to utilize which of the M4s. I feel like most of them are A1Ss right now, but more A4s are coming around the corner.
Yeah, you see the slight differences sometimes if you need the extra bullets for some of the early spams, depending on if you're playing around the smokes as well, but I feel a bit like just personal preference. The early nades with some unconfirmed damage towards the T-steps. That's Brett that loses quite a big chunk of his HP. Molotov spreads around towards top car, and Yakindar's forced off as Pwn alone breaks the smoke to take an opening peek on Banana.
I think Inferno also lends itself very much to that debate because there's so many sort of like bottleneck smoke angles where you want to spray with the A4 and have the extra 10 bullets. Try and do what you can with a surplus ammo and magazine capacity, of course. Although Naf is just shoulder peeking, waiting for a pixel so he can throw in his utility. Yakindar's also laid in wait up close. He's moved to 18. So the second they see or sniff out a T, there's going to be smokes in their eyes, and Pwn is watching CT spawn, but time is beginning to dwindle away, and the bombs still drop back at T-steps. This will be Cryptic picking that one up as Pwn alone is going slowly round the side. He may get his man. Did Naf spot him? He did indeed. Smokes down, and that's going to be the delayed push.
That's a raw 20 seconds taken off the clock. You're realizing you're gonna have 10 seconds left on the timer by the time that one dissipates. The bomb postures back up towards A. You want to throw in the utility and try to sell the idea this will be a B play. You hope they bite, and one man does. The brains of the operation in KDM goes running round on Speedway. The last two defenders of A have to put the foot down to win it here. Twist playing on the side, supported by Skulls. They both insert the knife, 10 seconds on the timer, one by one. Boss are being obliterated. They're gonna fall down as Liquid close it, and finally make it to 13, winning the first map with the best of 3.
With a 6-6 half, Boss have finally been able to put up some more rounds than usual versus an incredibly disjointed Liquid. I know the boys are celebrating right now, but Jacob, I just feel like this doesn't really warrant much of a celebration.
I'm not sure how to phrase this in a way in order not to offend anyone out there watching, so excuse me on everyone's behalf right now. I think that was one of the worst wins I've ever seen from Team Liquid. In the sense that, as you said, they allowed so many mistakes to happen. They allowed to play very sloppy Counter-Strike, and the only way I will accept that, the only way I will allow a team to do that is if they convincingly win against their opponents while playing sloppy Counter-Strike. But Liquid didn't do that. They were down 6-4. There was a couple of rounds that definitely could have swung the way of Boss, and we're looking at a very competitive game against an opponent that up until this point had not gotten more than 5 rounds against Team Liquid at any point over the course of 4 maps. For my money, Dust, I was not impressed.
Yeah, I was not impressed with performance either, just like GSP. It's one of those things where they just look like they were playing not to lose a lot of the time on the T side. I don't know if you got that same vibe or not, Jacob, but there was just a lot of rounds where they just seemed very hesitant. They were just kind of creeping around. They looked a little bit disjointed. They didn't have that decisiveness to just strike at a certain moment. The spacing just seemed off. Even on the CT side, you know, you look at the piss round. They had a 5-on-2. They should have easily won that and like cleaned up that. Half, and instead they put themselves in dire straits by losing that and having to win a force buy to kind of, you know, wrangle the troops back together, so to speak. Also just a lot of individualistic plays at times on the CT sides that were very much like head scratching as to why there isn't a little bit more team play involved in a squad that's been together for a good amount of time by now. You feel like they should have, you know, kind of ironed out some of those issues. But yeah, this was definitely a win, but not the decisive win that we were looking for.
No, and it requires, you know, as you see on the round history, they win the first pistol round on the T side, they convert. They didn't win the second pistol round, then they followed up winning the second round and go on a streak with 6 rounds in a row. Without those two, you know, technically pistols round wins and converting the rounds as well in that regard, we're looking at a game that could have been more competitive. We're looking at a Team Liquid that at certain points in this game had to break a sweat to even make sure that they were winning the game on Inferno. By the way, their own map pick as well. So it is kind of like a bittersweet feeling for me to stand here and say it, because yes, Team Liquid won, and it's hard to be critical of a team winning in the 13-9 in this regard, but I don't think Liquid played good enough Counter-Strike for me to stay away from the fact that it has to be a point of conversation after Inferno.
Well, considering the fact that, you know, their T side wasn't necessarily the greatest, would you say that is down to the hesitation that Dust has mentioned as well, just not really playing as fast pace as you would have liked to see from them?
A little bit, yeah, and I also want to give credit to Boss. I think their CT side was good. I think they had some decent defense. Again, every single time I've seen Boss play at this tournament, they played better and delivered better Counter-Strike than I would expect it coming into the game. So yes, I would agree, you know, for Cadian to call a T side where you get 6 rounds, sure, but it required you to win the pistol and you were down 6-4. It wasn't as impressive as I would have liked it to be. So credit to Boss, and for Team Liquid, it was troublesome at periods.
Yeah, and I know there's certainly some rounds that you want to pick apart and break down as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the timing, the pacing of Team Liquid with round 3 to kick things off.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough one, and we were discussing it in the group room as well. We're saying that a defensive Molotov coming in right here made it very tough for Team Liquid. They're coming in with just 10 seconds to go. They're finding the entries. Again, Boss not really playing it up to par right here, but Team Liquid is just too slow to move in. Into the bomb side. The bomb doesn't go down. If you want to win this round, you have one choice, and that is just to run in with your bomb in your hand, and then Cadian has to pray that the teammates will cast him the defense and pray that they will cover him, you know, in order to try to plant the bomb right here. They didn't, and that's a silly mistake made at a level where, again, it just feels like
spot on. I mean, he literally could have planted the bomb, then he tries to reposition to a different location and winds up not having enough time. That's a simple error that you shouldn't be making, but it also goes back to when you're playing down to that low of a clock, all of a sudden things get pressured, things get a little bit more tense, and you start making little errors like that you wouldn't normally make. And I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier. It wasn't necessarily that they were playing too slow, although there were certain rounds like that one, like they certainly did. It is, to me, like they lacked decisiveness. They looked like they were playing not to lose in a lot of ways in the mid portion of that first half, and I think those were the rounds that really illustrated it.
Well, let's go ahead and take another look at a different round where we saw an incredibly disjointed Team Liquid as well.
It almost feels like Liquid lost this game the way we're phrasing it right now, but this round, the 5v2 in the pistol right here, that is unacceptable. I like the aggression coming out here. I like Yakinda as well, had a great showing, had a great map. We were very critical of his individual performance. Great start right here. For my money, it's fine that he's pushing down, getting a 3rd kill right here, but his teammates, what on earth are you doing, Team Liquid? In a 5v2, you're forcing the issue right here. You lose 2 men, and then you have an additional single two-man fighting down middle, you know, pushing it into a 2v2. You're leaving Kaden by himself on the bomb side. You have your teammate all the way on the other bomb side. What essentially is an unlosable 5v2 in the pistol that would have become a 4v2 because Jacinda had to die from the position he was in. It's just being forced for Team Liquid. And I know what's going on, right? They're trying to play with no respect. They're trying to give themselves a sense of confidence. Let's just run down their throats. Let's kill them. Let's show them no respect. And usually that's what Kaden does so well with his teams. He did it in Heroic. He's done it before as well. But right now, Team Liquid is not at a state of mind. They're not at a level right now where they can allow themselves to do that. And they end up looking incredible silly in this scenario. Thank God for them. They won the following round. They won the force ban in that regard. Otherwise, we would be looking at an Inferno that would have been super close.
Well, Team Liquid managed to close things out over on Inferno, but Dust, what about Ancient? That's what we're going to be heading into next. How's that one going to go?
I mean, Liquid has a good track record. They beat Spirit at Blast, even though they did poorly at the event overall, and they've looked really sharp in the region. But this Boss team has looked incredible on Ancient so far. This tournament, obviously snapping, made Brazil's 10-game winning streak, had a very close game against Complexity yesterday as well. I think in particular, I've really liked about this team is their T-sides. If you watch this team play, they have some really good utility sets from Spawn that make it very difficult for the CT team to control middle, and they can also use it on off timings to get middle control for themselves to set up different types of split plays. You'll see Brett, you know, take point, pressure, Spawn, pressure, Red Room as well. So it makes it very difficult for teams to kind of, I think, get a read on them because they're so willing to take these off-timing controls of middle. They've also just seen them have some really strong execs where their spacing is super good and they're very confident with Darty and Freshy to take these, you know, just nice trade swings. And again, they're just really good team play, I think, in the midst of all of it is kind of what I'm getting at. So I think their T-sides have been really up to snuff. I think the CT is what let them down against Complexity. We'll have to see how they do today because this Liquid team, look, like you got Skulls anchoring one side of the map and Naf anchoring the other, and those are two very tough cookies to crack. And then Twist is a very smart mid player on CT side. So I want to see how that actually plays out. Like, can Twist figure out the puzzle that has been how excellent Boss have looked at their mid control on T side?
I would just love to see Liquid change the narrative, you know. Again, they won the map right here in Inferno. We allow ourselves to be critical of Team Liquid because we're expecting a lot from them, having the player material they do. Again, they're not, you know, they're not qualifying for the major winning this game. They're just avoiding elimination at this point as well. So we're looking at a Team Liquid with a future perspective. So for my money, change the narrative, you know, come in here to Ancient, get a secure win, you know, show some confident counter-strikes, some solid counter-strikes so we can start believing that you'll win tomorrow as well and make the major. Whereas for Boss, as I said, every single time they've taken the server, they've been impressive. So for my money, change the narrative if you're Team Liquid, if your Boss continue to do what you do, and then hopefully we have a Liquid winning this map.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see Liquid play this map up to the standard that I know that they're capable of playing. Again, we look at their win against Spirit at Blast, we look at their overall record in North America and regional play. You know, they are a team that's very capable of playing Ancient very standard, you know, just playing default, getting control of the B side of the map, setting up executes, things of that nature. But they can also just kind of change the pace and let Yakindar and Twist just come out and come swinging and really just kind of break you down very rapidly. So I want to see some of that because we saw, I think, a lot of indecisiveness and hesitancy on the T side of Inferno. They need to course correct that, in my opinion.
Well, will we see a much more confident-looking Team Liquid as we head on over into Ancient? Only time will tell, boys. I'm super excited for it, and we'll be back soon with the next map.
Level up your gaming space with metal posters from Displates. Hang your Displates in seconds. Swap them whenever you like. Get official art from your favorite games on a uniquely designed metal canvas and choose from thousands of posters. Join over 3 million collectors now. Your wall upgrade is here. Shop now at Displate.com.
Players are changing. Countries are changing. The game has changed.
Finds it to perfection and simple.
It's Olaf who's on top of the box. He's got 3 and he's looking for a 4. That is incredible. And Rain, he's knocked away.
The best tournament, the best bookmaker are the same.
The gauntlet of the Americas RMR rages on, and Boss are one map away from defeat and knockout. Can they bring it back, Vince? That's the big question.
It is the big question. It is Ancient. This is their best map. I think it is their best opportunity as well in terms of the statistics, in terms of the plays and how comfortable they are. So, I mean, they're going to have to do or die on this map, basically. I think they can do it, though, honestly, Jackie, because I think this is a Liquid that are wounded. This is a Liquid that aren't playing at 100%. They do have problems right now.
They do, they do. We've seen those issues crop up, and if you can find a way and if you can find openings, Ancient could be a battleground where they start to bring it back. I've got a bit of faith in them. Honestly, I think after what we saw on Inferno, the talent is definitely there. They're hitting their shots. Pone alone was coming out swinging. Freshie had his rounds on the T side. There's a lot of good elements. We just need all 5 fingers on the one hand of Boss to deliver going into this. Because obviously now you kind of move away from that conversation of all the pressures on Liquid, right? Where it's a little bit more level now. You know, it's one map, do or die. But hey, you could take that both ways, Vince. It's a BO1 effectively at this point. Just take it one round at a time, one game at a time. We'll see where we end up. We're here on Ancient, and it is a T-side start for Boss.
And this is the kind of map as well where Boss will be happy to be on that T side. They'll be happy to try and dictate the pace of these rounds. We've seen time and time again on that Inferno performance that when it comes to those duels, when it comes to those 2v2, 3v3s, they're more than capable of standing their ground, but they'll be pushing through Donut. Only one player here in the form of Skulls to try and see them off.
Skulls in the back, lurking inside of the temple. You'll hear the information as the digits are punching and Cryptic confirms the bomb plant, playing for the retake in the pistol. The Raw 5-on-5. The late lurk from Brett is holding for anyone that comes through cave, but they've all gone CT side with a bleed out through middle. Depending on how he wraps on this one and where they actually go, it could still pay off, but Cryptic's going to be first contact from CT and he beheads Yekindar.
Don't want a second as well for Cryptic. And he's still healthy, still alive, and still putting down frags. 4 kills for Cryptic. Outrageous round by him, and that should have just secured this one. Cadian should have no hope. Cryptic take a bow. That is a thing of beauty we just witnessed.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Holy indeed. My man was giving it with a Glock. It was this double up from Temple as well. Gets the instant follow-up shots off, beheads both of them, closes it down. Brett's late flank pays off for the Glock burst as well. Ooh, he's doing it with style, Vince.
Meanwhile, you saw the reaction of Cadian, just kind of like a disappointed parent, like, oh, that just happened. Now we have to go in for a force. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat, though, to the opposition. Like, Cryptic's had a hell of a round there. Yekindar, on off the back of a solid performance on Inferno, is looking to try and keep that pressure dialed up to 11. Darty could hear the footsteps, but will just be playing possum. Oh, and he may get the reward as well for his patience. May prove to be a virtue. He can sneak around the back, he can shut this one down, he gets both.
That is dirty from Darty. Walks his way up, oh, caught off guard by the re-peek from the... Third man though. Naf lurking inside the cave. The ink down onto Skulls. He's trapped, and they'll take a bite out of him in the back of Donut as Brett finishes it off. 2 weapons. Drop from the T side, but the bomb is now being planted. You're in a free V2. Both for the CTs wrapping around through CT side. Paranoid about where exactly these Ts are going to be at this point. And Naf's focus on the round is just to get out with the Galil.
Yeah, save Galil, the best possible result at this stage. Also pick up an MP9. It's going to buffer their next buy or lack thereof into the next round. But this is exactly what you wanted to see if you are boss. Some big highlight reel-worthy plays off one of your players just to motivate everyone, just to amp them up a little bit, fire them up. And then you secure the 2-0. You make sure you don't get bested by a force buy. And it was looking grim when Kindar pushes down ramp and gets that first pick for free. You're fearing the worst, but then Darty with that lurk. That was such a huge moment in the round.
Really heads-up play from him to buy his time like that, cut noise. In fact, he got both of the frag. Even though he falls to NAF, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It was very clean. Now, of course, those scavenge weapons are all you really have to support yourself going into the third. A couple of pistols brought out to back that up. You get the early spawn smoke that goes out as well. Cadian dashing that one down to block off towards deep mid, just as it blooms to stop them from barreling their way out. And they're actually just working into a main with it. Off-angle setup for Pwn alone. He's ready with a hydroponic, Vince. He wants to deal some damage here if they come walking into the crosshair.
Oh, Twist, though. They have the angles, and they have the frags. Twist has got 2 and a third with the last bullet in his magazine. Just 2 weapons to play with, and they've made both of them sing.
Oh, Cryptic. He expected it. Tried to pepper NAF and punish back, but the problem is it's all down to Darty now. 1 versus 4. They could be absolutely anywhere. The CTs have complete control of Ancient at this point.
Always in with a shot when you save those weapons. And Twist giving a firm reminder to Boss not to take their eye off the prize here. You've got to focus in each and every single one of these rounds. I mean, Liquid may be wounded, but it's like a wounded apex predator, right? Like, they can be limping. They're still going to wreck you if they get their hands on you, though.
When you get an animal cornered, Vince, it's when they're at their most ferocious, right? It's when they know they have to fight back. Fight or fight. For survival, Kindar being pushed towards cave. They wanted to get ahead of the utility and instantly bombard onto the bomb site, and they are bleeding their way out instantly. Kindar fires off all the shots into the smoke. A deep HE goes in. Knows Pwn alone was committing onto the bomb plant, so it's a tag onto him, sure, but you're feeling a bit uncomfortable already, realizing this has to be the raw retake up against the pistols on close angles.
Kindar trying to get through. That's a good Molotov. It's going to force Pwn alone off the angle. Still need to capitalize on this one. A slew of grenades still being tossed in. Closing off cave. Another Molotov to the back of the site. Designated to try and cordon off these areas. And now they're going to push back in again. There's not that much time on the clock, though. They're getting some kills. They're getting some success with Naflight, but he goes down to Brett. Boss bounce right back in.
I got it. Nice!
They had taken site control in seconds.
Giving Liquid a taste of their own medicine as well, man. Like, they're one of these really grim, low investment buys, but you've made it work. And it just took too long for Liquid to pull the trigger. They had Molotovs and smokes and flashes, but they threw them with like a quarter of the fuse left on the timer, and that forced them to spring into action. It almost felt like at that stage, maybe just swallow your pride and back off and save the weapons. It sucks to do, but the alternative is that you just are now into an MP9, no funds left in the collective account. They do have an open hands of Cadian, and middle control coming across the twists at the cost of quite a bit of health, though. They can't even see through these smokes either.
Make it uncomfortable for the T's, but limited information exchanged, and the bomb was waiting outside of A main. Off the back of that opening push, they're a little bit more hesitant, expecting closer angles to be in play from the CT side. You still got so much time on the clock. A minute here to work with. Double flash out on middle. Brett walks on up. Freshie holds for the rear, just in case they come knocking. Deep molly in a cubby as well. Cadian's AWP is still stationed towards the back of B, but no one is coming there. They're going to be going out through middle. Skulls has a Molotov in his hands. If they bleed their way round toward Donut, he can at least deny some time.
they need a pick here so desperately. Try and soften them up for Skulls in Donut, but Skulls thinking better of that decision. Molotov was placed on the deck and he backs away. And Boss are deciding that Cave is ripe for the taking. But there's 3 players here on Liquid. An MP9 up close, the smoke has been put into place. Everywhere where Boss want to try and push into just gets locked down by utility. And now, with just mere seconds on the clock, they're going to try and rush their way and brute force it onto the site. But Skulls is here and they line up for him and Naf. Tons of damage. But there's enough time for the bomb plant. This is still winnable.
They get it down. Final few seconds and they commit to it. Peeking out towards CT though, and the AWP finally gets an opportunity to punish. Yakindar towards Temple, finds Darty. Oh, it looked like it was going to be even worse than that though. With the limited time they had, that cave smoke came in with exactly 21 seconds left on the clock. They knew they didn't want to waste time. They couldn't just run through it. There could have been a player on the close angle. They back off. It looked like you were going to get sprayed down. So the fact you get a bomb plant out of it, make it look possible at least. It's better than it could have gone. But a rough round overall. Liquid going to be licking their wounds and happy with that one at least.
Has to be such a frustrating round if you're Boss as well. It's like you decide to hit Cave, get smoked off for 25 seconds. You go back to Donut, there's 2 players with a crossfire set up perfectly to deal so much damage to you that there was no real chance of getting the damage done after the retake came into fruition. But they're going to lick their wounds, and they're going to come back with 4 rifles and a Tech 9. Freshie, who had a really solid T-side on Inferno, off to a slow start. He'll be hoping to pick up the pace sooner rather than later, but early catwalk control is forthcoming, and they have the ledge as well. This is something we haven't seen Boss really utilize too much because Twist has been so aggressive through mid. So early mid control has been locked in, and the entry from Darty. Yakindar gets splattered in Cave.
Makes him ancient history in Cave there. Beautiful shot with the AK as well. Splintering the wood, smashing the face of Yakindar. Twists, clears his angles back towards Red Room, paranoid about a late play, gets himself set up to play the off angle in case it's a split push in. Cryptic needs to sell the idea of this being a bombardment towards B. Single shot fired on the ramp, draws out a smoke. Rest of the team now goes out through Donut. Twist, he's been waiting for this, but it won't matter. Bested by the Khalil, goes down. It's looking really bad now for Liquid. Cadium, he's trapped at both angles. Scared about the backstab from CT, but Brett's just holding it. If they come wrapping around, he can clothesline him. Cadium spots him.
Yeah, but it's going to be a bit of pill to swallow, isn't it? It's the shot for extraction. It's not a shot for a defuse and success just to hold on to the AWP. It is 3 weapons saved. We saw how Liquid prevailed in a previous round with just an AK and an MP9. So again, that cornered and caged Predator going to be difficult to contend with. The shot does connect. Freshie gets shot in the back. The bomb actually finishes him off, so Kaden is going to have the last laugh in the round. But Boss need to only look at the overall tally of rounds, and they'll be feeling pretty happy still about how this is going.
Shadow giving him away as he jumped round. Nice tag into the bomb plant then. Like the M4A1S was at least scavenged towards the end there, so if they want to keep that in play, they have it in their hands. Liquid going to be taking a timeout now as well. Take a few seconds to talk about it on their CT side. It's looking pretty good though already. T side coming out swinging. We expected their T half to be where things would allow them to set the pace of the game, play a little bit more aggressive into some of these rounds. They're hitting some shots as well. Darty has got to be said coming into this one already. He's having a bit of a field day.
Yeah, that entry onto Yakindar. I mean, there was a smoke down, still just removed his head. And it really was off the back of how aggressively they took mid-control in that last round. So I think an obvious change to make or a slight adjustment or tweak for Liquid is to get that aggression again, like get Twists, get Naf, if you need to, taking mid-control. Twist is out here early on. Molly smokes and flashes, but he has been smoked off himself. And with no one pushing through on Cave, other than Cadian, who nearly connected that shot while flashed.
It's a T. Clears it out now, looking for a headshot, little jump spot, but no info on the ramp setup. Molly can go over the top when Pone goes in for the plant. Can they pull this one off, at least denying it? It was a nice Molly down, follow-up shots also on target, twists. He's punished the first, but it's Nafly that pushes up, looking for the second deny. The nades are there, they're ruining him with the utility.
Yeah, this is much more like it from Liquid. Freshie tries to force the angle, understandably. In a 2-on-4, knew he had to try and take the initiative. But yes, that dynamic duo of Naf and Twists again, just so good. Skull's gonna clean up the rest, gets the mop and bucket out, and secures a third for Liquid. But it's that constant just pressure. The Molotov denies the bomb plant the first time, then there was HE's the second time. And Naf was waiting in the alcove. If the player tried to go for the wide swing, would just shut him down anyway. A claustrophobic round if you are boss, and that's even after getting early mid control. That was one of the main components that saw them get victory in the round prior.
For free. Somewhat broken by on a few of the players here for Boss as well, piecing it together. Skulls expecting the faster play off the audio, drops the Molotov, the spray's good, keeps on cleaving as he slices his way through free. The fourth is too far as they battle back for 2 frags, make it look like there's still a chance in the round. The deep Molotov ahead of the smoke as well. Oh, this could get interesting. Bombardment from Nafly goes sprinting out through CT. One by one, they give him opportunities to fight. And it's Brett into the cage match. Does he know the player's in the back towards Donut? He's seen his back. He knows. Yakindar's aware of the potential angles he could be playing in. Can he get the drop on him here? Wants to peek round on the left-hand side, lines up the headshot, gives him the lights-out play, and brings back the fourth in the carnage.
That was a 2 versus 5. The Boss nearly brute forced their way back into. Shades from Inferno pistol round came up. This time Yakindar does clutch it out. But that triple spray from Skulls should have been the round just done. The most convincing, easy, economy-building round that Liquid could have hoped for, and yet once again, everything just becomes so difficult. And take nothing away from Brett. The 3 kills he gets in amongst that smoke are so well cultivated. He played that perfectly. But again, it goes back to what Pimp said. It's like Liquid are winning rounds, but at no point do you feel confident about it. At no point do you feel like it was an easy round for Liquid.
It's always shaky. It's always a nail-biter. It's always going down to your 1v2s. It's really, really different to potentially what you'd expect. expect, right? I mean, you kind of sum it up with this. That the spray from Skulls, like you were saying, it felt like that was it. It was just going to be him on. Unleashing hell, ripping his way through everyone. Somehow they keep getting given opportunities, keep building into it and hitting the shots. But a clutch too far for a fifth for Boss.
I mean, I can't imagine how Skulls would have felt if he just landed a triple spray down and then they ended up losing that round. I mean, that's going to be a gut-wrencher. So the pumped fist of relief. But again, Liquid getting success, find themselves with barely any money accrued and built up across the board. 3K for Cadian, 1. $1,100 and Yakinda on everybody else below the $1,000 mark. Twist gonna go in for the wide swing. Behind that nade, he gets punished. Cryptic says no with his Tech 9.
The troublesome Tech on deck. Get into cave, but the response to send Naf running down towards the ramp. Tech9s keep causing issues when they get into close range angles, though. It's still a 3 versus 3, and the bomb's been recovered. Darty going back up towards the bomb site, even dinks down onto Twist. He's quite low at this point, but Naf's in the rear, ready to respond. And Freshie finds himself late on the flank, out through red room. Back's turned if they don't expect it, thinking that he's still towards ramp. He can make a bit of a play out of this one. He's going to get into the back and pulls out the butcher knife, and the man sliced his way through him. Only good for one, as Cadian stops it there.
I respect it though, man. I mean, that's money in the bank from the knife. Additionally, he's thinking like, maybe if I can get that knife off, get the money in the bank, and no one is close enough to instantly punish me, I can still push forward into this round. I thought for a second he was going to play possum for a while and see if a secondary component came back from the long side of the site. They lined up with the Tech 9 and, you know, kind of a Pasha play from the old VP days was known for those kind of sneaky shenanigans. Regardless, Liquid will take the lead, and they're going to be playing a bit more aggressively this time. Tons of volleys down on middle, and Twist going to be pushing behind it. There's a smoke also tossed into elbow. So the first time in a while based off spawns. And they have pushed back Boss a few steps.
Will that extra cash from the blades go a long way in this round? Cryptic straight out on mid with a 2-player setup. They fire nothing. Kindar's able to scrap for control through cave as well. Naf's there for the second peek if necessary. And you've got the wraparound from Skulls. Oh, if they can just buy a bit of time on this one, the round could be entirely over in a few seconds. Lines up the headshot onto Freshie. They're trapped at middle now at this point. One by one, pressure mounting. Brett on the off angle, but Cadian will clear.
That's more like it from Liquid. Utilizing those quick spawns. Molly's down onto mid, elbow taken control over and by Twists as he snaps it across. And Boss just can't weather that storm. And it feels like if they don't have mid control, Boss do struggle quite a bit. We've seen a couple of hits onto that B side of the map and they've had limited success. Oh, it's the Tech 9s and the P250s. And it would appear that A-main's going to get pushed into from the bomb at least. Smoke's now tossed in onto the donut side. And Brett's going to try and push into that smoke. Molotov onto Alcove. Twist on the other side, tossing in the nade to clear it. Doesn't really spot anything for his troubles, though.
The longer the game's gone on, Well, Yakindar's causing issues for them as well, and Cadian's been repositioning with that AWP, always in the right angle to cause problems. Skulls on the top rope, ready to spray down, hitting the head boxes as they will fall one by one. So the Pistols not getting too much done there. As Liquid, again, pass on that test and build themselves a nice buffer of rounds. Getting a bit more vocal now as well, feeling like things are falling back into their favor here on the second map. The final boss for them at the RMRs is right in front of them. If they lost this series, it would have been elimination. For Boss, you're one map away from that very fate. They've got to claw it back. At the very least, though, you've got weaponry again now. Pone alone brings the AWP out to play on the T side.
It's going to be Twist once more, down to the elbow. HE tossed in, trying to dust off the cobwebs of that smoke, but nothing really forthcoming. Flash on point, and Yakindar makes sure he doesn't miss his opportunity. That window closed in the face of Boss, but they decide they're going to go elsewhere. If mid's no longer available, no problems. We'll just rush it down onto A instead. And Twist is in hot pursuit on Donut. Another flashbang comes in, and it's so successful. This time tossed in from Yakindar, and although Twist is burning alive, no post plant has come in just yet. They managed to stall this with Molotovs and smokes tossed in. Another trade goes in favor of the CTs, but Pone alone is keeping the dream alive. Cadian takes the shot, misses out, but now it is all down to that man, Pone alone. Oh, 2 huge kills, but it's not going to be a third. Oh, there was nearly such a brilliant play, such a nice try from Pone alone. Oh! Cadian takes the shot. Another trade goes in favor of the CTs, but Pone alone is keeping the dream alive. Cadian takes the shot, misses out, but now it is all down to that man, Pone alone. Oh, 2 huge kills, but it's not going to be a third. Oh, there was nearly such a brilliant play, such a nice try from Pone alone, but 8-4 going to be a halftime score in favor of Liquid.
Oh my God, I thought that was going to be the most sickening thing we had seen with a scope in quite a little while there. God damn. Pone alone. Giving it with the AWP. Almost looked like he had that last one as well. I'm right there with you, homie, but doesn't happen in the end. Liquid at least get past that one. It would have been a horrific way to finish that one off for them.
Oh, you got to be devastated if you're Pone alone. He was so close to greatness in that round, and it was also not just in terms of like being selfish about wanting his moment, right? It would have been a 7-5 scoreline on Ancient as well. It makes a huge deal of difference going into that second half.
The fact it would have been such a sick round was just the extra caveat on top. The double no-scope, he was primed for it as well. All in the past now, though. We set our focus on the present. 8-4 being the score line. The T-side pistol coming out for Liquid. They go sprinting out through A main. Deep set up from Freshie. Takes the opening head off. Head off. Makes it uncomfortable towards Donut. Trying to bait him in. Hoping Skulls will overextend. Brett finds it. The numbers dwindle. It's getting a bit iffy now, but Naf towards the back with a Glock, good for only 1. Meanwhile, the bomb on the late rotation pulls up to B, and there is not a single soul on the site to hold them back.
It was all misdirection, Jackie. It was all smoke and mirrors. The problem is, though, that trick cost a bit too much if you're Liquid, and then they're going to have to clump together and hope and pray with this firing squad they have established that they can land nothing but headshots. First kills go in their favor. Twist now up to the plate, and he delivers as he smashes it over the head of Boss. A 2v4 clutch. The smoke and mirrors proving to be the correct play in the end, but my God, was it close.
All came down to the shots with a Glock. And those connect. Punishing round to have ripped away from you. All 4 players going in one by one and comfortable on the choke point. Liquid set themselves up for success there.
Suddenly Liquid in a heartbeat off to a 9-4 lead and Boss into a save. We do have Zeus's in play, one of those maps that is tailor-made for this weapon. As Yekindar may feel firsthand that Molotov's not going to extend. Cryptic may get the better of Yekindar, but Yekindar, he's seen this script, he's seen this movie before, and he's not going to fall prey to it.
No chance for the Zeus to send electricity down his spine. And at the minute, the round itself firmly in their hands. You get the bomb plant down. There is 2 more Zeuses in play. They were both over towards the other side. So if you walked into the close angles, they were just hoping to get those cheeky plays off, obviously realizing you don't really have the best weaponry to work with against the full buy. So all in all, Zeus isn't the worst weapon for it. You get that insta-kill if you're on the off angle.
Arcadian is hungry for the kills. He wants to put money into that AWP fund. Dollar bills in his eyes. He knows one player on Temple. HE tossed over on Freshie. Does a bit of damage, but not too significant. They do well not to feed him any of these kills here, boss. They know what's coming up. Now from the side, though, pinces in with one. And Cadian will get his kill. And that catapults him to $4,200.
That's what they were playing for at the end there. The extra money to build them up on this one, make it as easy as possible to have the weaponry you want, to look to close things here on Ancient. Don't let the game go on too long and get out of hand. But for Boss, there is the investment, the magnitude of Famises brought to the server, 3 of them in play here, supported by the 2 full rifles that were picked up. Yekindar fast play towards A main.
This has to be a round for Boss. This is a bonus round in every single sense of the term. But you got 4 MAC-10s and an AK. You have got to win this round if you're Boss. If Liquid win this, it is a golden fast-track ticket to a 2-0 and an elimination for Boss here.
Black set up towards the site. The 3 players pushing down. Down mid, twist on the angle, baiting them in. The carrot on a stick that Freshie falls for. Down and out, opening pick, making it easier for the T side of Liquid to pick and choose their battles for this one. All the nades left outside of the site as well for Cadian to set up the play onto the bomb site. Brett waiting, deep lane. 52 seconds on the timer. They expect this one. Deep flash round. Using a little bit of delay tactics onto the ramp, but the T's are going to be ready for it, and they're barreling in.
They push. Obadati's just backed away. Could be looking for a save, perhaps. But Brett is still standing here. He's still anticipating this. He still tries to go in for the clutch. And Yekindar denies another. Cryptic's going to get splattered by the MAC-10. Looking to pulverize the economy of Boss. And honestly, with 3 kills, they basically already have. This was 4 MAC-10s and an AK coming into the round, and Liquid gets success again.
You've ground down the CT side economy. And Twist has been hitting some worldies in a spot like this. They try to play those close angles, be a little bit safer with it. Nade round the corner, 84 HP left on him, but it's the flank from the back. If they can strip all the weapons from their hands, it makes it even worse here. But the Famus at least good for one. M4 hoping to survive. He does get through it, but that's all you get. The single M4 carried into the next, facing a scoreline where Liquid is sat at 11, a single round away from the series point and closing down. Boss's run at the Americas RMR here for the PGL Major Copenhagen.
MP9s, 2 M4s. And a vast deficit to navigate your way through. Aggression will see Skulls once again come out ahead in the opening trade. Oh, it's even worse than that though, because Skulls is not going to relent anytime soon. He wants to put this map and this series to bed as fast as possible, and a touchdown grenade will drop Cryptic to 54. Spray from Twists will not miss. And it looks as though Boss are on their last legs.
The round in the palm of their hands. Cryptic again fighting for survival to give them any extra to work with. But as Skulls finds him, the bookend of the round, closes it. And that's their series point. That's them on 12 now. Sitting pretty to shut things down entirely and walk away, knowing that you've starved off elimination and still have more to be said at your run at the Americas RMR. Timeout called in for Boss. But being able to mount a comeback like this would be unfathomable. Everything has to be absolutely flawless, round in, round out. They've got to give it their all, Vince. They leave nothing unspoken for on the server now.
And whereas that first half was scrappy, Liquid didn't quite look like they were firing on all cylinders. Now we're seeing some of those heavy hitters find their stride. Skulls having an excellent map. Naf at 113 ADR. 5 multi-kills for Skulls, 4 for Naf. And Twists also has just been chugging along, getting kills where it's been required. The buy is also in horrible shape for Boss. If they want that Cinderella story, that fairy tale ending, they're going to have to try and turn this back around real quick, right here, right now. There is no more room for error. Elimination back.
And with a fragmented setup of weaponry, how do you make this work? What's the heads-up play? For Darty, it's to push down the ramp, but the nade round the corner strips HP off him. Goes for a quicker pace, wants to bypass the smoke and gets his teammate in Brett set towards the corner. Cryptic finds the attack from Cadian through Red Room. They don't expect Darty. The Deagle, it goes the right, it goes west, doesn't deliver, and you've got an edge to play with now. You take site control, you set up for it one by one. They funnel into the crosshair of Skulls, and it's all on Freshie. Liquid know that they are just moments away from closing this down and grabbing 13.
One more player required, Freshie. He can look around for help, but it all has to come down to him. He has to be the hero of this story. But the time is ticking off that fuse ever so quickly. Flashbang up and over. He will make his last stand. And stand he shall no longer pass. As Boss will be eliminated from the RMRs. And Liquid live to fight another day.
11 back-to-back rounds coming in way of Team Liquid, but commiserations go out to the entire Boss team. They simply weren't able to make it work on their own map pick of Ancient. But Jacob, talk to me, how did you feel about the way that this match panned out?
I mean, kind of what we were hoping for if we're looking towards Team Liquid's perspective. Obviously, it's been a shaky start for them and for the new lineup in per se, but also at the RMR after they lost to Hwaa yesterday. They now find themselves in a position where they were forced to win the game today in order not to be eliminated. So if you're a Team Liquid fan, if you're hoping Team Liquid will make the major, a step in the right direction for sure. I'm a little bit sad on behalf of Boss, though. I think the way they're leaving the tournament doesn't represent how well they've been playing. I know this Ancient game wasn't great. They had no chance of winning it whatsoever. Never really got into the game, but the way they've been playing outside of this Ancient has been nothing but great, you know, compared to that, as you said, Dust, the only team with no salary coming into the tournament, the team with probably some of the least expectations. They've been able to break those every single time apart from this one map.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a spot-on assessment of the situation for Boss. I mean, obviously they came in underneath tragic circumstances, you know, having to use a stand-in as a part of that. You know, obviously came in as an underdog, as you said, not having any, you know, type of organizational support, so having to kind of do this on their own. Still time to fight tooth and nail to grind their way to the major and try to make their dreams a reality. And certainly there were moments throughout this tournament where they did shine bright, you know, snapping Made in Brazil's Ancient win streak, having a very close game against Complexity yesterday on this map as well. Definitely at times showing you that they are capable of good things, that some of their players can be quite skilled and can have big moments. I even thought tactically in some situations they looked, you know, pretty poised. So I do want to tip my hat to Boss putting together, you know, a pretty good looking run. You know, even on Inferno in this series, yeah, we kind of critique Liquid for the mistakes that they were making, but Boss played an excellent CT side of Inferno, did everything that they were supposed to do to be successful, and ultimately just come up a bit short against one of the teams that were heavily favored in this tournament.
Well, key takeaways from the two of you boys for the Boss team. Moving on forward, outside of the Americas RMR, any kind of props or words of wisdom you want to throw their way, Dust?
I think the foundations are great. I think as we spoke about, you know, the way they anticipate the game. I was very impressed yesterday with the way they were able to keep their head, you know, level calmed in a way that when you're playing a 3v3 or in a 2v2, sometimes you see these unexperienced teams, they have a tough time figuring out then what to do. You know, it becomes a little bit flustered or disjointed in many cases. I don't think I saw too much of that from Boss. So keep working on that foundation, and then I guess, you know, losing games like these and going into RMR events and playing at LAN, it's going to give you experience. So I'm hoping that we get to see more of them, that we get to see many deeper runs in the NA qualifiers and continue to work on. I think we saw potential right here that you don't normally see from classic NA team.
All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us. Like a good drug, never enough.
We hook up in my car, driving so far. Play you guitar, you'd show me your art. Let down our guards, think with our hearts. Stare at the stars, we were never apart. Drinking too young, way too much fun. Out in the sun, or pain when it's gone. Took you to prom, dance to our song. Dance all night long till the lights come on.
It's too late now, I remember everything. And how careless we got. It's too late now, I remember you and me. And how careless we.
It's too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we could be.